So over we go to our first opening speaker, and I can't believe this year what's happening, because welcome Wynter Worsthorne from South Africa. Is that we've managed to, several speakers that have really wanted over all these years to come and join us have actually managed this year, and Wynter, you are truly one of them. If you've not met Wynter before, or you haven't heard of her, what a beautiful soul. And let me just give you a little introduction, Wynter. So Wynter is from South Africa and has been practicing as a professional animal communicator since 2001. In 2002, she met Linda Tucker, who many of you will, it was a very memorable occasion when we had Linda at the event. And she started working closely with the Global White Lion Protection Trust, where she consults for them on wildlife issues and acts as the co-facilitator for the White Lion Leadership Academy. Wynter is founder of the Animal Talk Africa Online Academy and works closely with the Baboon Matters Trust. And she is involved with the plight of elephants, working on a documentary called Through Elephant Eyes, which sounds fascinating, Wynter. And today, she will be speaking on her recently developed heart method, where she helps people work with heart energy to achieve real transformation. Welcome, Wynter.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's lovely to be here finally, and I've, obviously known of you and the conference for so many years. So it's an honor to be here, and just listening to the essence and the energies. I'm hoping to bring some lion energy, some elephant energy, and certainly African energy into the room today. Okay.
Wonderful, thank you.
So I'm going to be speaking about heart energy achieving real transformation, but it really is grounded in interspecies communication, animal communication. So I can share my screen, can't I? Yes. I'm just going to share, put together a bit of a presentation. So, let me just get the slideshow on. I can't seem to.
Is it the slideshow just sort of about a third of the way in?
Yeah, just the Zoom screen is hiding my, hang on, let me just move this. Oh, goodness.
It is Sunday morning, Wynter.
It's
certainly not the first. We've had a few things. We can actually see it anyway the other way that you had it.
Yeah. Hang on, but now I can't. Very strange. I can't seem to get it. Oh, there's slideshow from beginning. There we go. Better. Yay. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Okay, I'm just going to lead you through what I planned for the next sort of hour or so. And I want to start off with an opening meditation just to get us all grounded and connected and on the same wavelength as we move through this energy work. The intention, or my intention for the talk today is really to show the possibilities of how working with this heart energy and positive transformation with the guidance of Mother Nature can really achieve miracles. And it's something that people, it's time now for people to work in this way. A little explanation about what I term heart energy, keys to interspecies communication, positive transformation. I'm going to be showing you sharing a few examples of the work that I've done, focusing on wild African animals, and situations. At the end, I'd really like to offer a heart meditation, which will be about 15 minutes long, just to show you so that we can all actually do this work together on a particular issue. And then if there's time for questions after my talk, we could stay here and do the questions. If not, I'll be in the breakout room and we can have a chat then. Okay. All right. So if everybody, this is a picture of a lilac-breasted roller, and that was taken in November in the Kruger National Park when I was doing one of my virtual starline journeys. We had a surprise visit to the Kruger and a very special, most beautiful bird, and I just thought it was appropriate for us to connect in with this energy of the lilac-breasted roller as we go into our opening meditation. So if everyone just wants to make themselves very comfortable and close your eyes and take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. If you'd like to open your eyes and gently rest them on the bird and that African sky blue, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, keep them closed. And feel your feet firmly on the ground. Feel the connection to Mother Earth. Take your focus on your breath. Take a few long, deep breaths in and out. And as you breathe in, I want you to focus on the beautiful rose gold light that is surrounding you, surrounding all of us. And this symbolizes the unconditional love of Mother Nature. Feel the warmth of her love as you breathe it in to your body. And as you breathe that light in, just feel any anxieties or worries start to dissolve and transform. Take your focus to your heart space, that space in the middle of your chest. You can even place your hand over your heart. And as you're breathing in that rose gold light, that unconditional love of Mother Nature, become aware of your own love for all the animals and for all of nature. Knowing that we are part of nature, there is no separation. Feel the connection that love brings. As we create this field of love around us, we feel the connection between everybody who is on this call today, on this beautiful Sunday morning. And we feel the connection between all of nature, all the animals, the animals in the room with you, and we invite them to be part of this journey today. as we feel their energy moving outside of the room into your own environment, and then moving beyond the physical boundaries, connecting everyone around the world. We feel that love and protection, this warmth of Mother Nature, this beautiful connection of hearts and spirit. Keep focused on your breath. Feel your feet firmly on the ground once more, as we relax into the day. Become aware of your physical body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room with us. Thank you, everybody. I just want you to stay in that field that we've created, and towards the end of the talk, we're going to go deeper into that field to do the work. So right now, just let my words and the energy of this call settle into the cells of your body and into your energy fields. Okay. So everyone is familiar with that feeling of love and heart energy. And I know I was sorry to miss many of the talks this weekend, but I'm sure a lot of it was to do with that energy of connection and healing. And how I came to this sort of term, heart energy achieving real transformation, was through the animals. I mean, the animals are always, as we know, our greatest teachers. And doing interspecies communication or animal communication for so many years, and teaching people how to communicate with their own animal friends in their home, and then working with wild animals, and really working a lot with the baboons in South Africa that I live quite closely with in my everyday life, and also working with the Global Whiteline Protection Trust, I started realizing that it almost isn't enough just to communicate and start understanding other species and other animals. What we do with that information, we know on a practical level we can assist where we can, but the ability that we have as human beings to co-create with Mother Nature is something that we have been able to do since the beginning of time, just like we've been able to communicate with animals since the beginning of the time. It's our birthright. We've just forgotten about it. And I know, and you know, this isn't going to be a lesson in animal communication, but it is moving slightly beyond what is now known technically in the science world as intuitive interspecies communication, and what we've always called animal communication. It really is working with the knowledge and the information we receive from the animals and from nature, and then manifesting a positive outcome. So really co-creating with Mother Nature, for nature. And we are living in a time of crisis in our world. We all know that, we all feel it, this climate change, this so many species going extinct, this world of, you know, this age of the Anthropocene where humans are dominating everything. And there's such a need of bringing that connection back. And more people are feeling it, and more people are doing something about it. And this is what this work is all about. So when I describe heart energy, it is that unconditional love. It's that love of, with no judgment, with loving the essence of that being, no matter what they look like, what their actions are. You don't need to love their actions, but loving that essence of that particular being or nature, unconditional love with no need, no demands, no attachment. I call it a God love, nature's love. It's a energy of connection, and it is the common energy of all of nature. It's that bridge that connects us all, and it is the energy that we can use for being able to communicate with other species. I want to introduce you to a word called Bukhle, which is from the Wynter tradition in South Africa. And the Wynter tribe is one of the most ancient, one of the oldest tribes in Africa. And many of the African tribes descend from the Wynter tradition. Now, Bukhle is that feeling, and you felt it on occasion, when you know when everything is just in perfect harmony, when everything feels good, peaceful, beautiful, when you just want to laugh and smile and sing and dance because everything feels like it's in harmony. And in the Wynter tradition, that is what we strive for as humans. And I just put some of these pictures up. These little grass huts are the traditional Wynter homes, and these women dancing in the snake dance is still, done in celebration of nature today. And it just showed me the feeling of connection between humans here, but they very much bring nature in and the animals into their world. So heart energy is all these things. And when we get into that place of connection, of Bukhle, it's like our heart is beating with the rhythm of nature. And I know there's been studies done on the heartbeat being in tune with the golden mean ratio. When we are in connection with nature, our heartbeat actually has that rhythm of the golden means. So now I've always spoken about the keys to interspecies communication as love, respect, and joy. If you can focus on those three energies, it's all you really need to be able to consciously communicate with any animal being. And of course, it extends beyond the animals. It extends to the trees, the plants, to water. We've been talking a lot about water this morning as well. Unconditional love, mutual respect, and transformational joy, because without the joy, we can really get sucked into the heaviness of what so many species on this planet are experiencing at this moment, including humans. But now let's go beyond that, the keys to positive transformation. So it's unconditional love, that connection, but taking that unconditional love and putting it into action. Mutual respect, which means really listening with your heart and trusting the message, trusting the guidance. Transformational joy is also about focusing on a positive outcome. So that really is the key to this transformational work, is focusing on the best possible outcome of a situation. So if you just hold on to those three energies, that is what we're going to be focusing on today. So I just want you to have a look at this beautiful giraffe. And this was a giraffe that I met. He's quite an old male that I met in the Kruger National Park. And it must have been in 2017 or 2018. I can't remember which trip it was. It was before COVID, so we were able to, I was still doing my in-person starline journeys and taking people into the wild of Africa to connect with the wild animals. And we were in two game viewing vehicles, and there were probably, so there must have been about 20 of us. And we stopped next to this beautiful giraffe who was on the side of the road. And we were connecting in with him, just being in silence, just sitting there, feeling his beautiful energy. And the information that he gave to us, and almost everybody at the same time received the same information. And that's always, as you know, I'm sure, that is validation in itself that this message is true and real, and we need to listen. And that was one of having a clean heart, a clean, clear heart. So I've always known and taught that to be able to connect with animals, all you need to do is send love, that unconditional love. But what Giraffe was saying to us was that we need to be very, very clear in our heart space before we actually start the connection process. We are connected all the time, but when we start consciously connecting and wanting to communicate, the best thing to do is to make sure that your heart is clean of all your own stuff. So all the anxieties, the worries, of course, the judgment we need to clear, because that's the unconditional love. But those fears, those worries, that almost that trauma, that pain that we carry, and we all carry it because we are all so sensitive to the animals. Anyone who really, really loves animals is connected and very sensitive to what is happening in this world. But when we want to achieve this transformation and to really clearly listen, we need to, at that moment of connection, clear our hearts. And I remember thinking, really pondering on this afterwards. And I asked the lions, the lions that we work with at the White Lion Trust and that we are part of the project. And I said, how do we clean our hearts like this so that we can instantly go into that connection and that communication? And what I was shown was that we just need to, before we actually send the love, we need to receive the love consciously. And that's what I was sharing with you in the beginning of our in the meditation, was actually being aware of nature's love and pulling it into, breathing it into your heart. And we're going to do that a little bit more later to really clean and clear that heart energy before we can connect. And that made so much sense to me, because so that's also what people are lacking, that feeling of unconditional love. Many people haven't experienced that in their lives, and it's difficult for them to open their hearts to sending out that love if they haven't felt it. But when you connect in with nature's love and really consciously start feeling it and working with it in your heart space, then it's so much easier. And it's only through experience that you can learn what it feels like. And I can sit here talking for hours and hours, but until you actually do it, you're not going to really know what I'm talking about. So that was something that I really wanted to get across, is giraffe's message. And giraffes has the biggest heart out of all the mammals, according to their size. So the process, setting the intention to receive guidance from Mother Nature or from the animal that you are concerned about. Perhaps it's the same thing. Making sure that your heart is clean and clear by just feeling that unconditional love of Mother Nature. Once you start connecting by sending out that own love and creating that field of love, listen clearly, and listen to what is needed. So when we work in heart meditation, I always pose the question, how can I be of assistance? Or if I'm with a group, how can we assist at this time? Especially if we're focusing on one particular issue that has come to our attention. And then really see and feel what is needed. What does nature need of us at this time to help achieve the transformation that is needed? And it's always about focusing on that positive vision, the positive outcome. So nature, you will receive that information. You'll receive it as an image, a feeling, and then you focus on that. You need to trust, really trust that we are in the co-creative process. Trust nature, trust yourself, trust the animals. And while this process is happening, it's really important to be present. So every now and again, I know in our hectic lives, we've got admin to do, we've got families to look after, all this practical stuff. Always make sure that you have moments of being absolutely present in that moment, because that is when you start getting more guidance on what to do about a particular issue. So it is about creating a positive visualization and seeing the possibilities, but it's also about being open to, when do you act? When is the right time to actually create a petition or do a march, or actually go in and talk to government, if we're talking about big issues, or actually go and talk to the animal's carer, to start the physical transformation. Because with positive manifestation, laws of attraction, as we've known about it in the past, the key is action as well. It's not just about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about being present, about listening, and then acting on the guidance that is offered. But also trusting in divine timing, because sometimes we want things to change immediately. That's our human condition, that immediate satisfaction, that need. But the universe has different timings. The universe can always see what is needed at the right time. And we need to listen to that in order to be most effective. And it's always such a subtle thing, because, we feel the sense of urgency right now that we need to be doing something. But then sometimes, we might be getting the guidance that actually, let us just wait and hold this vision until something else changes. So we are stronger together. So I started doing, when COVID happened and lockdown happened, I had a starline journey that I call planned, where I bring people, or I was bringing people to the White Lion Trust land, and it's a private project that isn't open to the public, but I have been one of the people that are allowed to bring groups to work with the lions in this way. And of course, with lockdown, there was no travel, we couldn't do it. And so I received guidance. It was just when I couldn't sleep one night and thinking, how am I going to support the White Lion Trust when people can't get there? And I just got this vision of actually people connecting in from all over the world in a virtual way. And it was challenging, but anyway, we did it. And there's been, we've done 4 so far. And the very first group, there were 20 people came together from all over the world. And the biggest message that nature gave was that we are stronger together. And that is, obviously, we know that, but when we start working with this heart energy on the same wavelength, focusing on the same positive outcome, that is when miracles occur. So really it's about gathering, for me, it's about gathering as many people as possible to start working in this way together for positive transformation. And that this was just a global march in 2016 for lions, and it doesn't look like, it was a huge number of people walking in the streets of Cape Town. Okay, so I'm just going to, apologies for the picture on the right. This is a hyena that was caught in a snare, and I'm going to talk about this. I just wanted to show you the picture of what wild animals have to go through, even in what should be very, very safe spaces for them. So this was a story that happened at the White Lion Trust, and this is a spotted hyena, who are amazing animals. They are amazing, amazing animals, and they do so much to help us see, bring sort of corruption and darkness into the light. So when we came aware of this hyena, and what happened was there was this camera trap, which is a camera that is, it takes pictures when there's movement in front of it. And this hyena needed help. As you can see, the wire is really cutting into his neck. And I don't want you to focus on that, but he was wanting help, and he actually came right up to that camera as if he knew that there was someone, and he did know that there was someone on the other side that could see him. So he showed himself, and in that picture we saw and how much he needed help. And the picture on the right, which you can focus on now, is him having had treatment and being released. But what happened was that the guy on the top of the trap cage there is Neil, and he immediately wanted to get assistance to the hyena. So he put this cage, which is a big square, much if you know in domestic worlds, something like a feral cat humane trap. This is just a very big one for wildlife. And I was there at the time with a group of animal communicators, and we started communicating with the hyena to say that if he needs help, if he wants help, he needs to go into the trap. And we didn't even call it a trap, we called it a healing box. And we visualized him going into the healing box and receiving help, being darted, getting an injection so that he would be asleep while the vet cleaned him up. And then that we visualized exactly how he is in that picture, being released and being safe. But he wouldn't go in. Night after night, he just would not go in. And when I connected in, I realized that there was something that was stopping him. And it was a fear. It was obviously a fear, which would be obvious. But when in my experience, when we communicate with wild animals, when they need help, they trust us. They can feel that beautiful energy, like that video at the start of the opening. They see us and feel the energy and know that we are there to help them. So it didn't make sense that he just was refusing to go in. But there were a whole lot of volunteers on the land where the hyena was. And I said, okay, we need to get more people involved, and we need to find out where this fear is coming from. So I spoke to these people, and they were a group of youngsters and who absolutely loved animals and wildlife. But all of them, almost all of them, were scared that the hyena it was so bad that the hyena might have to be killed or put to sleep, put out of his misery. So it's almost like their fear or it was, their fear was stopping him from going into the healing cage, because he was picking up that. And they were on the property, they were closest to him. And so there was a discord. So that is why I'm saying the heart energy achieving real transformation is beyond just using animal communication, because it's working with a field of intention. And when I communicated with physical communication with the other people who had this fear, I had to work through their fears and say, okay, so if we did nothing, it seems obvious, but when you're in that fear state, it doesn't make any logical sense. But so if we didn't do anything, and if we left this hyena, he's going to die. That snare is going to, and he is going to die in horrific agony. So even if it means that we cannot save him in his physical form, we focus on him being relieved of the pain. And if that means a release from his body into spirit, then that is what is meant to be. So focusing on the highest good for all involved. So when we do that, we also get rid of all the fears that we have around the situation. So we focus on the highest good of all, and then we let go. We hold the vision of him being free of pain in whatever form that takes. Fortunately, the form that it took was physical, and he was treated and it healed beautifully, and he went back. And I do so remember that when I was communicating with him, he was worried about his pups, his children, and nobody had seen any children, and or his offspring or a family of hyenas. They'd only ever seen him. But when he was released, a few weeks later, maybe even a month later, he came back, and the managers on the property actually saw him with his pack, with his wife and with pups. So that was again confirmation. So I'm telling you this story because sometimes just the animal communication needs more, and this is what this transformational work is all about. So I hope that all makes sense. Being guided by your heart energy. And this is Marie, when in her introduction spoke to me, talked about the documentary I've been involved with. Now, these are two elephants called Swali and Majaji, and on the left, and they have been used in the elephant tourism industry. And at the time, that's me with them, at the time they were being used very intensively with people on their backs every day in and out. There'd be sometimes up to 5 or 6 people on their backs. And I don't know if you can connect in, if you just look at the face of Majaji, who's on the right here. At this time, they were completely shut down. They had had enough. There was a wild herd in the same area that they were not allowed to be with. And the intention of this work, so how I came to meet Majaji and Swali was because the filmmaker was desperately looking for an elephant tourism operation that would allow an animal communicator in to communicate with the animals, with the elephants, and no one was allowing that to happen in our area in the Cape. And the Cape has got the biggest elephant tourism operators, and so we were at a loss. Time was running out. The film crew were from Australia. We didn't know what to do. We could not find any operation that would let them film an animal communicator, me communicating with the animals. And then when I was asking for guidance. I was asking Mother Nature for guidance, and I kept on getting this word, Majaji. And I thought, well, Majaji, we know Majaji is the name of the Rain Queen, again in the Venda tradition, the Rain Queen. And she is a person who is the Queen of the Rains. And I just had an insight with the filmmaker, and I said, just do a search, Elephant Majaji. And we came across this operation with an elephant called Majaji. And connecting with her, we knew she needed help. She was asking for assistance, asking for help. And so she was situated across the other side of the country. So the whole film crew went there, and she became the basis of this documentary that is being done. And one of the biggest issues was that she was wanting to be with this wild herd, and she was being kept away from them, both her and her brother Tswali. And you can even see that his tusks have been sawn off, and he's been put on hormones to reduce his testosterone. So it's it's not a good thing to have elephants being ridden and interacting with humans in the way for human pleasure. It really is not. We did so much work, and they were actually the subject of one of my first heart gatherings for elephants. And my last update, and it's been a long story, but I'm just going to shorten it. The last update I had was that she was breaking out of her camp and going to the wild elephants, but she was being allowed to stay, and she was coming back by herself. Whereas in the past, they would break out and they'd do a hideous process of darting and airlifting these elephants back away from the herd. Anyway, they've allowed her to do that. They're still doing elephant interactions, but they're not riding them anymore. So it's step by step, and it's taken a while, and it's still in process. But just be guided by your heart whenever you are working with traumatic issues around nature. And we can use this heart energy work on anything from missing animals to sick animals to environmental issues like that, areas that have been devastated and need regeneration, animals in captivity. And this, if you know Linda Tucker's work and her story, the Global White Lion Protection Trust, this is Mara, the founding lioness who was born in captivity, taken away from her mom at birth, and rescued by Linda from here. She is in the Johannesburg Zoo. And actually the picture behind me on the screen is Mara when she was in the wild, being a wild lioness. And the picture on the right is her family, her bloodline. So her daughter and grandsons. And this was all achieved through this positive transformation work from the very beginning. And so it really is possible. Miracles are possible when we start we keep focusing, we keep working with our heart, we keep focusing on the heart work. And the culmination, or I suppose it's also the beginning of a new step of supporting the Global White Lion Protection Trust, is the formulation of what I call the Heart Pride. And now we've opened it up to members who want to join our Heart Pride and start doing this work together. So if you are more interested in it and working with environmental issues and wild animals, please have a look at heartpride.africa to see how you can join into supporting the Global White Lion Protection Trust and also supporting this work of global transformation. So really, that is all I wanted to share before we go into a meditation. Um, if you want to just share anything in the chat before we start, please do so.
Wynter, sorry to interrupt. Is it questions you want, or just any shares on the meditation? Or
well, I just wanted to make sure everyone's following me and
yeah,
everyone's on the right track. On
yeah.
just a little bit of feedback would be great.
Any comments? We usually have quite a lot of messages coming in. I think the meditation has sort of put us in a wonderful zone.
Yes. Well, let us just continue into that zone. I did race a bit because I realized I
You've
started
got
at
some
quarter
coming in.
past. I was getting a bit different. I was getting a bit. I thought I had less time, and we actually do have a little bit.
No, Caroline will be timing you on your last 10 minutes.
Okay.
So you've got
Excellent.
absolutely beautiful, fabulous heart energy,
Okay.
Wynter. Thank you. Completely
Okay.
with you from Becca.
All right.
Heartfelt,
Wonderful.
and everything Wynter says resonates with me.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so different working virtually, isn't it? Where you can't see your audience. So thank you, everyone. So I'm going to speak a little bit about, before we go into doing this heart work, I'm going to speak a little bit about the picture that you're seeing on the screen now. Now, very recently, actually, not less than a week ago, I was asked to help with an elephant, a young male elephant. And when I say young male, this elephant is about 30 years old, which is young for elephants. And he's been causing a lot of problems for the humans on a private game reserve in South Africa. And what he's been doing has been pushing fences down, not causing too much damage in my view. He could be doing a lot more damage given his size and his message. But people are getting very, very frustrated with him. And unfortunately, in South Africa, there is an attitude of removing problem animals. And so the CEO of this very, very large game reserve, which is about 35,000 hectares, so huge, huge area, wild area, but it is fenced off, you know, even though it's, you know, kilometers, tens and 20 kilometers across. This elephant can roam in one night 15 to 20 kilometers. That's how massive this land is. But he keeps coming to the people, and there's quite a few lodges that are fenced in with electric fences. And he keeps on doing this. And what was interesting to me when I connected and communicated with this elephant, and the particular elephant isn't on the screen at the moment, but this is the property, and this is probably one of his family members or two of his family members that roam these plains. And in the back you can see there's people as well. And I wanted to use this photograph just to give you a sense and an essence of what the energy of this land is. And what I find so interesting is the CEO, I mean, he put himself really out there. He's very traditional, very patriarchal, sort of trained in the way, you know, human dominates nature and human manages nature. Fortunately, on this reserve, there is no hunting, there's no culling of elephants, which is so rife in South Africa, actually. But what I found is that this particular elephant it's almost like he has become an activist for the elephants, and actually not just for the elephants, but for all of nature. He's saying, see me, listen to me, we need help. And the elephant situation in Africa at this moment is dire. And actually, when he started this behavior, I've been doing some investigation. It was the same time that the trophy hunting quota was submitted by the South African government, and that included elephants. And it was also the same time that Botswana, which is that Botswana border is actually very close to this reserve, lifted its ban on hunting of elephants. So this all culminated with the actions of this particular bull. Now, try and tell that to a stalwart, South African game ranger type ecologist who's very stuck in science, and it's very, very tricky. And fortunately, the CEO is open, otherwise you wouldn't have connected with me. But how do you say, well, he's doing this because he wants people to stop building fences and wants people to stop hunting and to start opening up the spaces so that the elephants can have their old migration routes back? Because what do we do about it? What can he physically do about it to stop this elephant? And the only thing that we can really do about it is this transformation work and working with the energy of the issue, as well as petitions and advocacy and petitioning government to change the laws. We need to do that. We need to put pressure on Botswana to ban hunting again. Botswana has such huge tourism and elephants are iconic. But humans see money. There's this awful belief that, or this sort of tradition, certainly in South Africa, is that if it pays, it stays, talking about nature. So really commoditizing nature. And that's how we have to change. And there is a shift happening. There certainly is a shift. And I believe it is starting to transform. More and more people are waking up. So without further ado, I'd love you all to join me in a heart meditation for the elephants. And if during this time you can think of a situation that you are really struggling with, that you want to transform, work with it in this field of love that we're going to be co-creating right now. Okay. All right. So let us just go back into that heart space that we started off with. Once again, feel your feet firmly on the ground. Feel your seat in the chair beneath you, your back straight, but your body relaxed. Once again, become aware of that rose gold light that is surrounding us, protecting us. Connecting us. Take your focus on your breath. Long, deep breaths in and out. And on your next in-breath, take your focus once again to your heart space and breathe that light into your heart, as if your heart is a set of lungs and that love energy is the air that you're breathing. As you breathe it in, feel it and see it cleaning and clearing your heart space. So any feelings of anxiety, of pain, of trauma, of heaviness are transformed. You might see them as a dark, heavy cloud, and you can either breathe it out of your heart and see it transformed into light. So you're not leaving it out into the ether, but you're seeing it being transformed by that light into the light. And as your heart clears and cleans, start feeling it being filled with unconditional love, that of Mother Nature, and that of your own love for Mother Nature and for all the animals. Now see or feel, or both, that energy of love filling your heart space completely. There's no heaviness left right in this moment. You've created a field of love around your heart. And now see and feel it expanding from your heart center throughout your body. And as it expands, it cleans and clears any little residue of heaviness throughout your cells. Anything that's might be stopping you from connecting with your fullness of your very essence, your pure heart essence. See it being cleared and healed. Now extend that field further beyond your physical body into the energy field around you, cleaning and clearing any heaviness. Expand that field into the room, and once again include all your animal friends that may be with you. And now expand it outside of the room into the property, into the neighboring properties, into the streets, into the fields and the forests, to the streams. There is no limit to this heart field. Extend it as far as it can go to the man-made borders of the countries beyond that. And as that field extends, it starts including, and you start connecting with all nature's beings, the trees, the birds, the insects, the plants, the grasses, the earth, the minerals in the soil, the crystals, the rocks, and the water, and the very air that we're breathing. Connect with that through this heart field that we've co-created. And as we expand it beyond the lands into the oceans, we connect with all the sea beings. Feel the joy of being in the space of connection. Feel your heart dancing with absolute transformational joy and love as you settle into this field of connection. And now, remember there's no limit, so you can expand that field to the stars, to the ancestral realms, and beyond. And as we sit into this field, we invite the lion ancestors, the elephant ancestors, to join us. We invite all of nature's beings to be part of this gathering as we focus on what is needed at this time. And now, open your hearts, stay in this field, and just be present and aware of any vision, any feeling, anything that you are being shown at this time of how we can assist nature. And if you want to focus on any particular issue that is not to do with the elephants at this time, but something that has really been heavy in your heart, ask how you can assist. And we are now going to spend just a few minutes in silence listening. And then I'll slowly bring you back into the vision of transformation. Feel the gratitude from your heart space. of being able to feel this beautiful connection of joy. And as I started speaking again, I hear the cry of the fish eagle, which is such an iconic bird of the African bush. And as we listen to Mother Nature, let us now hold a vision of peace and freedom for the elephants, for all beings. At this time, I'm focusing on the vision of the lions and the elephants walking the lands in freedom. Because once they are walking in freedom, all of nature will be protected and be in freedom. So now let us hold the vision of Africa and the matriarchs of this continent as they walk their migration routes, the breadth and length of Africa. See the fences being taken down. Let us now see the hunters laying down their weapons. And let us see the human hearts become open to the messages of nature, to live as one with nature, to remember this connection, to start the healing of the great separation sickness that humankind suffers from. Let us walk with the elephants in our hearts as we move not only on the African continent, but through the oceans to the whales who carry that same elephant energy in the seas. Let them carry that movement of joy and freedom and peace as they swim the oceans and connect their energy to the lands over the oceans. And let us see all the animals be safe, be allowed to have intrinsic value on the earth. Every animal being, let them be free to play the role they are meant to play, to be free from fear of humans and their greed, to be free to have choices of where to roam, who to meet with and to mate with, who to be friends with, who to challenge. Let us see a world as one heart. Let us see the wars between humans come to an end, where all weapons are laid down, where hearts connect, not only with each other, but with all of nature. Let us see this message being carried by the elephants, the whales, the tree roots the waters, throughout the entire globe. We ask for assistance from the ancestral elders in the ancestral realms, those who have come before us, those who will come after us. Let us all come together on the same heart wavelength of love, of peace.
Wynter, you've got 3 minutes remaining.
Thank you. And as we hold this vision, feel yourself connected to the ground, to this beautiful earth we call Mother Nature. Feel your body held in this field of love. Take your focus back to your heart space in your body and your breath. Take a deep breath in and out. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes and just give absolute thanks and gratitude to these majestic, majestic beings that we call elephants. Thank you, everybody, for joining me in this heart gathering. And there's probably only 1 minute left or 2 minutes left now.
No, don't worry, Wynter, because we're going to break. So
I didn't want to interrupt you, Wynter. It's just so beautiful. Oh, it's just so perfect.
Thank you.
have we time
Thank
for
you.
to ask any sort of feedback on the meditation, Wynter, if anybody's
Yeah, if
because
people
it was
would
so
like to.
lovely. Has anybody got any feedback they'd like to share? Either if you want to unmute, hands up, or chat or anything. If you can, it's easier to unmute for us if you can. Well, look, I'll start it off. I usually do. I had one winter.
Thank you.
Now, what you probably don't know is Monday I started off with a huge writing I had from the ancient elephant tribe. So when you saw them, when you mentioned that, now mine is around looking for a rental, which has evaded me. So I thought, okay, let's give this a go. And the first thing as you led us in was, I thought, well, this is going to be interesting, having had messages from them, was beautiful elephant's eye consistently throughout. My message was your feet need to rest. This is what happens. So I just write it as I'm giving it. Mm. Your feet need to rest. You need to rest on an ancient place, a sacred place where you are connected again. The house we used to live in was a lot of land, which we're not there now. And there were actually ancient burial bones there, interestingly.
Very interesting.
So the warrior in you will help you. We will help you. You need soul rest. Please rest your soul. Make a sacred place. We have had to do this as we are moved on. We are moved around. Not always this really, all this part really resonated. We are not always where we want to be, which is very similar to myself. This is life as we know it now. That's why you are knowing it. You are suffering as we suffer. So you truly know our tribe, for you are one of our tribe. Walk with us on our land. You are welcome with us in peace. For me, it was just incredible. Thank you, Wynter, and the elephants.
Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for the messages. Thank you, Claire. And baboon energy came in as well. And I didn't actually speak about the baboons today, which I normally do because they're so close to my heart.
Oh.
But
anybody else, anything they want to share? And it really resonated, you know, with the hyena. So many things you've said, Wynter, with the, you know, and about sort of the before sending love and the receiving so many beautiful messages. This is why we've had to wait so long for you.
I had to start getting, yes, it's taken a while to get to this point, you know. It's one thing being communicating and, you know, to individuals with individuals and helping individuals, but when we work with entire species and, you know, it's just the oneness of everything, you know, so.
And can I check with, you know, Mara, I was at, you pointed it out, but I was actually going to ask you if that was Mara behind you.
Yes.
Did Mara leave this earth plane?
She did, and yeah, it was a natural sort of accident, I suppose. But what was interesting, you know, she was born on Christmas Day in a place called Bethlehem in South Africa, but she died at Easter. When she was fully adult and her cubs had learned how to hunt for themselves, because her cubs were born in the Johannesburg Zoo. So it really was a continuation of, it was devastating at the time, obviously, but
as soon as I saw you, I thought, that's Mara behind you.
Yes.
It's just, oh, bless. Thank you for bringing Mara in as well.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh.
She's always with us.
Oh, wonderful.
I think it was so nice to have the silence as well, Marie, where we just had that space. And I do think there's, through the theme of us being marching together and being warriors for the animals, and you know, this togetherness theme is coming through. So that's what I feel.
Well, there's definitely something that the elephants, especially because it, as I say, it was quite a long writing I read out. Another one that I was given, we seem to be given these Wynter at the middle of the night.
Yes.
And it was from the ancient tribe and calling for help. And that was years ago. And so it was just so fascinating when, oh, and somebody's saying, Liz Bell, I have the same photo of Mara on my wall behind me.
Beautiful.
Very special.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, Wynter, we can't thank you enough. What a wonderful way to open our
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. And it's
lots and lots. There's 12 messages thanking you here.
Thank you. Well, if anyone wants to
your world. Also for taking us into your world. Wow, you know, that's not our everyday world.
No, that's what I love about this work, and I feel so honored and privileged to be living in this space, even though there's lots of human problems here and animal problems, but it's just beautiful. It's a joy to be here.
And just let me read out, because this was one, I'm just trying to read, I just saw it coming in. Deborah Benson, she was given the name Jambali, asking us to set them free and live in peace. We are to teach the children as they will be the earth keepers and saviours of our world as we are. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for your insights. Wonderful start to the day. All lots of, oh, Wynter, that's really, I just feel touched as well. I feel so blessed.